And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to a very special episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. First of all guys, you have to excuse my horrible voice today and face honestly because, I'm in the middle of a recovery of a terrible cold. So yeah, the face sucks, the voice sucks, just bear with me. But I had to make a video today because like I said, today's is a very special episode and the reason for that is because we are celebrating here. We are celebrating the first anniversary of a very special game to me. This little masterpiece right here, Octopath Traveler, it was released 1 year ago. And I'm going to dare to say this, if this video was a top 10 video game of all time for me, Octopath Traveler will be on it. I've talked about this game before here on the channel when it was released. I did a first impression video and I also did an unboxing of this amazing collector's edition. I will leave links for those videos in the description box below for you guys to check it out. And I thought about making this video today because I do have a crazy story about Octopath Traveler. This is the story of the launch of Octopath Traveler for me. This is the story of how I got this collector's edition. And let me tell you guys, it is a crazy story. So let's start with the beginning, and for that we have to go way back into March of last year. And that was when this game was announced. I think this was one of the first Nintendo Directs or a Nintendo Direct Mini. And when they announced Octopath Traveler, I was very excited about it because you guys know I love RPGs, I love the 16-bit era. And this is the type of game that I really enjoy to play, especially on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm a huge supporter of the indie community. And looking back, I think that was the perfect time. It was the perfect time to release a game like this. So like I said, I was very excited, but since the game was announced, I didn't thought for a second that this game was going to be for everybody. I think this game was aiming towards, old school players, old school JRPG players, people that grew up playing, RPGs on the Super Nintendo, people that grew up playing games like, Chrono Trigger, Terra Enigma, Secret of Mana, stuff like that. And yes, retro gaming is trending, is definitely in vogue right now, but like I said, I didn't thought that this game would get the success that it got. So fair enough, they announced the game, I was very hyped about it, and they also announced this awesome collector's edition. This is the European release, this is the Traveler's Compendium Edition, and it is pretty much the same as the Wayfarers in North America. Although this doesn't include a soundtrack, but it is what it is. Now that leads me to the core of this story, and here's the thing. I'm not the type of guy that makes pre-orders like day one. I occasionally do pre-orders, about the games that I really want to play, about the games that tell me a lot. For example, I did the one on Kingdom Hearts 3, but like I said, I never thought that this was going to sold out. So I waited and waited. A couple of months later, and I think this was about 1 month before the release of the game, or 3 weeks more or less, I was at a local shopping mall with my girlfriend. If you guys live in Lisbon, that was El Corte Inglés. And when I was browsing the new releases and upcoming releases on the video game section, I spotted the pre-order for Octopath Traveler. And I realized, well, the game is going to be released in a couple of weeks. Well, I think I'm going to pre-order it now. And I was talking to the guy responsible for the pre-orders, and he told me, well, it is sold out. And I said, well, is it sold out here in your store or is it sold out everywhere? And he told me, well, it is pretty much sold out everywhere. And not just the collector's edition, but good luck trying to find, the standard edition as well. I just couldn't believe it. And I totally remember my girlfriend Maria saying, well, you should have made a pre-order before. That is true, but again, it is what it is. So what I did for the rest of the week, I made a lot of phone calls, I visited a lot of stores, and yes, the game was sold out everywhere. I was able to find a couple of pre-orders for the standard edition, but the collector's edition was definitely sold out. But one store that is not far from here, this is a chain of stores, a Fnac, and the nearest store from where I live, this is in downtown Lisbon. The guy there told me that if I went to the store day one, early in the morning, I might get lucky. So they didn't make any promises on me, but it was my last shot. I woke up very early in that morning, and let me tell you guys, I hate mornings. I am not a morning guy, I work at night, I edit my videos at night. The only reason why I record it during the day is because, there's nobody in home and I have daylight. But believe me, I f***ing hate mornings. So I woke up 8 a.m., which is a miracle to me. I arrived at the store very early. And what I mean by early, it was 1 hour before the store was even open. I was the first in, I went to the video game sections, and no Octopath Traveler for Johnny here. In this specific store, not even the standard edition was available. And this is where my crazy Octopath Traveler journey begins. So the first thing I did was I asked the guy, well, can you please check online? Can you check on your website? Can you call other stores? I waited for about half an hour more or less, and the guy told me, well, a couple of people just canceled their pre-orders in another store, in our chain. Now, for you guys that live in Lisbon, I was in Baixo Chiado, and the other store was in Colombo. So let's say that I was in the middle of the town, more or less, and this other store was in another shopping mall in the other part of the city. It's like 45 minutes to get there, more or less, by subway. Now, here's the problem. According to the policies of the store, you know, the guy just couldn't save one for me. So I had to go there myself and pick it up if I was lucky. So I ran out of the store, I arrived at this other store in this other shopping mall about 40 to 45 minutes later, more or less. Yes, 3 people canceled their pre-orders, and these 3 games that were available at the store already got sold. Again, I went to this guy, you know, in charge of the pre-orders and the video game section, and I told him, well, can you please try to find me one in another store? So there were a couple of ones available, but not in Lisbon, but there was a light at the end of the tunnel. The guy told me, well, there's another store in another shopping mall, and I think that they received a couple of extra copies of the collector's edition. Again, fellow people from Lisbon, I was at Colombo, alright? This other store was at the shopping mall Vasco da Gama. And yes, Lisbon is a small city, but this was on the other side of the city. Again, I was like, F me, I can't believe this, but yeah, I'm going there. Now, when I was leaving this line, and believe me guys, there were a lot of people behind me for this game. There was this kid behind me at the same store, and he told me, well, I heard your conversation with the guy, I'm going to that shopping mall, I want to pick this game for myself as well. Do you want to ride? This was a completely stranger to me. This kid was like 18, 19 years old, and I'm a social guy, you know, I like to talk with people, but I'm not very comfortable in getting, you know, in cars with strangers. So young kids in the crowd never do that. Because here's the thing, I hate cars, I hate driving. As a matter of fact, I don't own a car. I don't have a driver's license. I don't feel proud about it, but, you know, cars make me very uncomfortable. I hate cars. They give me stress, they give me anxiety, I hate it. But on this specific situation, I was desperate. I needed this game, so I told this kid, okay, thank you, I'll go with you. We went to his car, I don't know what car it was, I don't know anything about cars, but it was this yellow old Jeep type of thing. And this kid was very, very cool. He was a super nice, very cool, geeky kid like me. Well, not like me because I was 11 years older than him, but nevertheless, a very cool kid. The problem was that this kid was in a hurry. He told me that he was skipping a couple of classes in order to get this game, and he was in a hurry to get, you know, to the rest of the classes for the day. So he drove like crazy, and he was talking to me, well, I'm very excited about the game, and what type of games do you like RPGs, etc. And I was like, yeah, I'm not anxious at all. Finally, we arrived there. So we arrived at the mall, we rushed to the store, and I think that by now this was around 11 AM more or less. We went to the video game section and we asked the guy, well, do you have any collector's edition of the Octopath Traveler? This guy at the store was very calm, you know, very polite, looking at the computer. He was taking too damn long. Finally, he told us, yes, we do have a couple of these at store, but they're at the warehouse. And I was like, well, can you go and get 2 of them? And he was like, well, sorry, that's really not part of my department. You really have to wait for the guy that's in charge of the pre-orders and the cancel pre-orders and yeah. Now, I'm not a violent person. I'm usually very calm in this type of situations, but I wanted to murder this guy because he told us that his colleague, the one that was in charge of these, was part of the late shift or something like that. So we had to wait until the end of the day. The kid that was with me didn't have time for that. I didn't have time for that. I was missing hours of work online. I was missing hours of work at the store. So I told the kid, well, let's forget about this. I mean, it's it. That's it. It's over. And he agreed with me. He said, well, I really can't be here, you know, for the rest of the day. So, well, let's go. This is it. On our way out of the store, there was this brand new Nintendo Switch display. I guess that they were displaying the new games, the new releases. I saw a couple of Octopath Traveler copies, the standard edition. There were like, a row of them, like 7 or 8 more or less. And then I couldn't believe my eyes, because on the top of the display, there were two companion editions of Octopath Traveler. I jumped to them, I grabbed both of them, I kept one for myself, I gave the other one to the kid that was with me, and we went off to pay for these games. We paid the lady, and mission accomplished. This story is 100% true, guys. It totally happened. Looking at these 2 collector's editions looking back at us was like, watching a miracle. And let me tell you this, guys, I'm not a strong believer. We got out of the store, we talked for a little bit, we were very excited about this whole story, about this crazy situation, and I bought this kid some coffee, and I thanked him for the ride, and this was it. This was my Octopath Traveler story. This kid's name is Guilherme. Guilherme, my friend, if you're watching this, I will never forget this story, I will never forget this day, and I'm probably never going to forget about you. I added Guilherme on Facebook that day, and I never saw him again, but I made him a promise. I told him day 1, at the launch date of Octopath Traveler, I told him that I had a YouTube channel. And I promised him that on the 1st anniversary of Octopath Traveler, I was going to tell our story in a video. And this is it. It's done. Once again, Guilherme, if you're watching this, obrigado, amigo, grande abraço para ti, e espero que tenhas gostado do Octopath Traveler. And like I was saying in the beginning of the video, guys, this truly is one of my favorite video games of all time, one of my favorite JRPGs. I love everything about this game, I love the whole concept, I love the grinding aspect of it, I love the soundtrack. My favorite character, without a doubt, is Cyrus. My favorite storyline, or story path, if you will, is Primrose, because it is a very, very deep story, and that is the beauty of Octopath Traveler. I mean, there's so much content within this game, and this collector's edition, in my opinion, it is totally worth it. It truly is a very special game for me. I cried in some parts of the game, I laughed in some parts of this game, and to sum it up, guys, I still can't believe that this game was the huge success that it was, although I don't think that it is the game for everybody. Some people didn't get into it, and I totally understand that, because I truly think that this is a love letter for the 16-bit era of JRPGs. The graphics, the whole mechanics of the game, the grind, because there's a lot of grind in Octopath Traveler. But if you have doubts about it, just give it a try, because you might like it, you might enjoy this game. And this concludes the video, guys, so please let me know on the comment section below if you guys have any interesting story about Octopath Traveler. Let me know if you like the game, let me know if you have the collector's edition of it. So to end this video the right way, happy birthday, Octopath Traveler. If you guys want to support the show, feel free to check out the Retro Raiders Patreon page. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.